Hi, it's Dwyer. It is July 19th, 2025. Let's talk about the fight that took place today. Right, Alexander Usyk's KO of Daniel DuBois. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, let me point out here, I'm going to be completely selfish. Just a quick commentary here. I hope Alexander Usyk either walks away from the sport here. Folks, he is undisputed at heavyweight again. He blew through England unbeaten. 2 fights against Joshua, 2 fights against Tyson Fury, 2 fights against Daniel DuBois. He gets 2 stoppages in the 2 fights. He has a round where Fury looks out on his feet. He himself is not knocked down. I like there to be gold standards in sports. I like thinking of Babe Ruth in baseball, Jordan in basketball, right? In boxing, whether or not you think Usyk could have hung with, name the great, Joe Louis, Ali, Liston, Foreman, Dempsey, whoever, right? Johnson. Whether or not you think he could hang, he's in the conversation, folks, right? You're talking about a guy who's unbeaten as I make this video, right? Gold medal winner in the amateurs, undisputed at cruiser, fought some unbeaten fighters, gave them their first loss, right? Maris Briedis in Latvia, Briedis' backyard. Murat Gassiev in Russia, in Gassiev's backyard. He beat excellent fighters when they were unbeaten, right? Keep in mind, too, Tyson Fury beats him in the UK, right? And, of course, Fury unbeaten at the time. So you're talking about a rare talent here. I hope he walks away from the sport. We'll look up to him. I don't see how he could raise his profile anymore. I don't think he needs the money. I think he's in the conversation with all the great unbeaten fighters. Let me say this too. I understand there are some people who realize that a couple of his fights could have gone the other way, right? The Maris Briedis fight could have gone the other way. The first Fury fight could have gone the other way, right? But understand, that can be said for any of these unbeaten guys. Marciano, the Roland Lastarza fight, the first one, that's a close fight. Jose Castillo, Floyd Mayweather, that's a close fight, right? Even Joe Calzaghe, understand, you have those who believe Robin Reed beat him. The Hopkins fight could have also gone the other way. Let's remember, Hopkins gets a legitimate knockdown in that fight, right? So just understand, I'm hoping Usyk figures out that he's conquered his generation, and I'm hoping that he looks at the Moses Atamas of the world, the young guys, as a different generation. He doesn't have to fight. Let that generation fight among themselves and figure out who's the best for that age group, right? If I'm Usyk, I owe no one anything. Let me leave the sport right here, right? The alternative would be one of 2 fights. The top guy right now, if he wants to leave and prove he's current, the top challenger right now in the heavyweight division, in my eyes, is Joe Parker, right? If he wants to swing toward Parker, okay, great. My point to you, though, is, he doesn't really have anything to prove to anyone, right? There's always going to be, always, that guy who looks like he deserves a title shot. Here, Usyk's last fight would be against a Daniel DuBois, who actually had a share of the belt. He could walk away from the stage. Parker will then get his opportunity to fight for the title. Let's remember, too, if Usyk vacates, he's vacating 4 belts, right, if he retires. The other alternative fight would be to put a bow on the era, right? I know the public's going to disagree with me, but there's only one other man from the era that's passing right now who, in my opinion, would be a great farewell fight for Usyk. There was a time in boxing where the two guys who were ruling the roost after Tyson Fury self-immolated, after beating Vladimir Klitschko, the two guys who ruled the roost were AJ, who Usyk's already fought twice, as he has Tyson Fury. The other guy was Deontay Wilder. Right? If Fury wants to put a bow on the package and say, okay, I'm going to leave here, I'm going to close the door on my generation, but I'll fight a guy who held the world title for 5 years, okay, good for him. Right? Let me just say, though, that he doesn't have to do that right now, right? Deontay Wilder is just making a comeback. That fight would be fraught with risk. We'll talk about why in analyzing this fight, right? With Wilder, there's a certain length dynamic. With Wilder, he knows who he is. He knows he's a puncher. He's not in the ring trying to outpoint you, right? I think it would be interesting if, in fact, Usyk decided to take that risk. Let me also point out, too, that at this stage of his career, titles should be superfluous. First of all, when a guy's a 3-time unified champion, the sanctioning bodies, at least one of them, should play ball with him. Should say, okay, you know what, player, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. We're not going to immediately demand that you fight this mandatory. We're going to give you a little leeway. We're not going to strip you right away. You could tell us privately that you want one fight, you want the titles at stake, then you're going to walk into the sunset, and we should play ball and realize, you know what, this guy's a special guy. We'll give him an accommodation we wouldn't give 95% of fighters. Right? But, just understand, if all sanctioning bodies said, no, we're not going to sanction you against Deontay Wilder, he should be prepared to say, okay, that's fine. Does the belt make the man, or does the man make the belt? Right? He should say, I have unfinished business. When I came into the heavyweight division, this man was one of the guys ruling the roost. Understand, Tyson Fury has only been dropped multiple times in multiple fights by one man, and that's Deontay Wilder. Right? Wilder never beats Fury, but those are combative fights. I would argue the signature fight for Usyk in his entire boxing career is the first Fury fight. 5 years from now, you're going to be in a bar. There's going to be a group who believes Fury won that fight. Right? I myself thought Fury was off to a fast start. Then, of course, you have the infamous later round. That later round has some issues with it. Right? An argument can be made, and there'll certainly be a group at the pub making this argument, that Usyk's on his way to a stoppage. And then the ref is between the two fighters, right? Let's just say the ref seemed to think it was a 3-way, not a 2-way, right? He's between the two fighters. Fury, of course, at that point looks completely spent. He's able to recover to go the distance, but that's one of those situations where if you're on the Usyk side of the table, you're saying, what's the ref doing here? Isn't the ref lingering a bit too much? Ref, are you going to let this play out in the direction it's headed? Where Tyson Fury's holding on to a rope, looking destabilized, looking ready to get stopped. The division could have had clarity at that moment. Well, let's talk about this fight. Right, let me just say this. Daniel DuBois went for it. I give him credit. Carl Frampton on the telecast gave DuBois the third round. DuBois did look good at the beginning of the third round. What what I want people to focus on here. A couple of things. Right, first, you know that there's a group out there, I'm one of them, who believes that the first fight should have gone DuBois' way. That Usyk looks a little bit soft to the body. Right? You thought, you know what, in this fight, Daniel DuBois has to go to the body like, let's name a fight, Mike Tyson did against Brian Nielsen. Look at that fight. Right? You thought DuBois should come out, he should just see a bullseye on Usyk's body. Right? He should have forced the referee to have to make a decision. These punches around the belt line, are they legal? Right? As it was, DuBois, in the fourth round, gets off a decent body shot. And Usyk looks at him. Right? You could tell this, that's the part of the fight that should have been highlighted and should have been pursued. Daniel DuBois doesn't. I don't know whether it's youth. I understand Usyk's hard to pin down. He's moving around the ring and stuff like that. But the guys who hunt your body, the Roberto Durans of the world, folks, they make it harder for you to get away than Daniel DuBois did here. Right? DuBois just didn't have the foot speed. Just didn't have the get up and go to use his size to let Usyk understand, hey, I'm coming inside. Right? You're not going to be able to hold me away. You want to, have that right jab waving in my face and stuff like that. I don't care. I'll trade your jab for getting inside and hitting you with hard shots to the body. Think about the great body punchers you know. Right here, what shouldn't have happened, happened. Against master boxer Alexander Usyk, a boxing match broke out. Right? DuBois throwing right hands up top. Hey, player, the minute you use the words up top and talking about trying to land on Alexander Usyk, you're behind the game. Right? Usyk has all this upper body movement and he's, waving his hand in front of you and he's moving his head and stuff. Look, up top is a fool's errand. Right? DuBois should have said, I'm the bigger man. I'm coming inside. I'm going to be pushing you. I'm going to be pulling you. I'm going to be going to your body. He just couldn't do it. Let me say this too. Usyk's left hand, and hindsight's 100%. Usyk's left hand lines up with DuBois' right hand. Right? So, just to understand, DuBois had a problem. Does he throw the right hand a lot and then risk Usyk countering him with the left? Folks, you had a great moment in this fight. It's the end of the second round with about 10 seconds or so on the clock, where DuBois jumps in, throws the right hand high, right? Usyk comes back with a picture-perfect counter. Picture-perfect. Straight left. Right? Look at the end of the second round. And it hits DuBois, gave DuBois something to think about. Obviously, this fire alarm is giving me something to think about. I'll continue this video when this alarm goes off. Thanks for stopping by.